I am someone who has so many ideas. There's so much good stuff in here, and then almost like so much. I don't want to say too much good. It's not that it's too much. It's the perfect amount of stuff that happens here as I like go through my daily life. It's just that my like exit doors to get it outside into the real world are not it's like they're just non-efficient. It's like the butterfly. uh it's like, you ever go in one of those spinning doors where it's like you have to push, or like they move by itself, but like you have to try to not walk too fast or too slow. Have you ever had one of them stop while you're literally locked inside this like little cylinder? And it's like, well, you're in the middle. You can't get out, but you also can't get back out or in. Like, feels like that is there's a broken turntable, or just like a turntable in my head that needs some like just elbow grease. It just needs a little bit of like WD-40, some Pam, whatever you spray, whatever, to just keep it flowing. Because I think what happens is an idea gets stuck in there, and I get very frustrated, and often I just kind of put it off for another day or another time, because I don't have a clear way of getting just these things out. So, all of that is to say, I would love to start this, if you're watching video or if you're just listening. God bless you, because I'm going to be moving my hands a lot and you're going to miss half of it. But that's okay. I'll try to orate what's happening. I would love to start off and have an organized list of, hello, folks. This is episode 29 of this X number season, and today we're going to talk about H, I, J, and K. And stay tuned for Z at the end, because it's going to be amazing. And the reality is, my brain just doesn't work like that. Like, I'm just sitting down and talking because I know there's so much in here. And it's like, I don't know which of those strands is going to make it through that exit door first. So it's kind of like we're both on a journey of discovering what's about to be said. Because I don't even know. And I guess that's part of what makes it fun, is like it starts to even clarify my own thinking by just being able to like just, feed it through the cylinder one thing at a time. So actually what I might do is, when I'm done talking, I may edit, and when I'm done talking, I'll recap what I just talked about, and then I'll put that in the beginning for y'all, so that you actually do see it in the beginning. But neither of us really knew before this started what was going to happen. Well, in this episode, you get a trip in my brain a little bit with like real life stuff and like what's been going on. Some big life changes just over the last like 6 weeks, and how I'm navigating it, and the mess ups along the way, and also like the learning along the way, and how I'm learning where my like my go obsessive, like wanting to learn, wanting to figure things out energy is like useful, and where it's actually like a hindrance, and when I'm learning to like slow down and trust and allow like synchronicities and the universe kind of like come to me. And it's happening, bro. Like, I can't even like keep track, because it's so much of just like life showing up in a way that's better than I could have planned it. And the more that I go in a certain frequency and a vibration and a pattern of my life, the more that stuff happens, and it gets wild, man. It's been a few months, I think, since my last release on the podcast, and I don't have a jingle, and I'm cool with it. A jingle for the podcast. Really, I think this podcast is more of a tour through the mazes of my own mind and my experience. You're kind of on the ride with me to tell you these stories and insights and learnings and lessons and all of these things until I can get a better system and get some support to help me funnel it a little bit clearer. But I kind of like the idea of, I'll tell, like right now, you've probably just heard me say what I'm going to talk about, which I don't even know that I'm going to talk about yet. Like in my video, you're going to see that it sounds like it, but actually in real life, I don't. I mean, there's lots going on. Let me maybe just give you a rundown of some things going on lately, because I think the way that I seem to process and deal with life on life's terms seems to be, I'm learning, a little bit unusual and a little bit of like anomaly in a sense of how do I go through such chaotic stuff and stay not chaotic in here, or even like, you know, as I'm riding the waves of like really hard stuff in life and then really great stuff, how is it that I can ride these waves externally that look like tsunamis, but if you just see me and in terms of like how I am able to like stay balanced and centered through it, how am I able to stay like centered and grounded? And for me, it's so just natural and a default that sometimes I can forget that that is not the default for everyone. So that's where it's hard to sometimes communicate it. And I think that's also where like my happy place, like where I am in the zone, is when I am talking with other people about things that they're dealing with in their life and things, you know, different things that they're working through and challenges and things that are very complicated when it comes to people and relationships with people and themselves, is when I'm with someone else, like I get in a flow state where I'm not, there's a different part of my brain that is activated that sees the maze very clearly from like a bird's eye view and is able to map the path forward for them. Or at least like shed the light, you know, the flashlight. And I love it. I love it. And that's part of even just like the process of sharing some of this with you, is like there's still here a special energy and a flow to all of this. But yeah, I've had a lot of chaos lately. Today, as I'm filming this, is Thursday, July 30th, 2026. And I'd say the last wow, it's been a month. Holy smokes. So I'd say more than a month. I'd say probably the last 6 weeks. Probably 6 to 8 weeks have been like wild, bro. And, you know, I'll share some of what I'm dealing with just as like some examples, like, oh, here's hard stuff. But what I hope you can, I mean, you're going to take away whatever you want, but what I hope you can relate to are like the feelings and the principles that like serve as the boat and the oars and the sail and the compass for how I navigate these things. Because, or like maybe some of you are just listening because you want to know what's been going on. And that's cool too. So, man. All right, it's July 30th. Today happens to be my 2-week mark of 2 weeks from my surgery that I got completed for my knee. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Actually, hold on. Be impressed with that quad set. That's actually impressive. I don't know if you can see it. I'm in a wheelchair. And this is straight leg quadricep activation and contraction, which 2 weeks out, I'm doing pretty solid. Anyway, I had my first surgery for a ruptured ACL and a lateral and a medial meniscus complex root tear, which is fun. I've learned more about menisci and the mechanics of the knee and physiology and all of that than I ever knew before. So if you want to talk about knees, let me know. So I'm 2 weeks out from there. That just 2 weeks has been a whirlwind. And then before that was another whirlwind in of itself, because I tend to I think the theme of my life journey is I like challenges, and I like puzzles. I like hard puzzles. I want a challenge. And I definitely got that and created that for myself in a sense. So June 1st, what day is it? June. Yeah, so, or I guess, holy shit, no, May 31st, June 30th. Okay. June 30th, I moved out of my apartment that I've been in for about 7 years, a little under 7 years. And that was a journey, and I had a whole plan, knowing that, hey, I am not good to stay here when I have surgery, and it's time for me to move anyway, and I don't know where I'm going, and, it was this whole journey. So that was June 1st. June 30th? June 30th. And, I had all these beautiful plans of, what I was going to do and where I was going to end up, and, life happened, and it just seemed like everything kept falling through, where it's I'm packing boxes at my old apartment, not knowing where I'm going or when I'm going. And that was a wild, existential experience of just, I know I'm moving, but I don't know where or when, just feeling so unstable. It was really hard. And then also just preparing for, so moving out was a whole process, dealing with stuff with my landlord and just not getting my requests honored for just the environment that I was living in, and the different issues that were there, some serious just issues that were not being addressed from a health and safety perspective, and there's grief there as well. There it's you can keep pulling the string, right? But so it's moving out of there, and then not really having a set place to move into, but knowing that I need to find somewhere that I'm moving into before the 16th, which is my surgery date, and not just needing to have a new place to move into, but needing to do some preparation, because part of my surgery is that it's almost not the surgery that's the hard part, but the recovery. Simple ACL tears are too simple for me, I guess, who likes a bigger challenge. Simple ACL reconstructions, you might even be starting to put some, walking or pressure on that leg the same day. The complexity of having a joint concurrent, concomitant, whatever it is, surgery of a meniscus and an ACL is that the meniscus makes it that much more delicate, where the meniscus is an area that has such little blood flow, because it's cartilage, that it's so delicate that I need to be not weight bearing on that leg for up to 6 weeks. So imagine all this pressure of getting packed up to move with a torn ACL and meniscus, packing up to move, not knowing where I'm going or when, and then knowing a surgery is going to come up, after which I'm not going to be able to really move or function or walk, right? And not even knowing really what that journey is like, because I've never really had a surgery, and it's just hard to know in advance what something like that is like, right? I'm hearing all these stories of being bedridden for, up to 2 weeks and needing help, and I'm someone who lives alone, and it's just it was really a hard journey, coming up to that surgery for sure. And long story short, I moved out. I got a storage unit. The storage unit then got a leak in it. Like, it just felt like life kept happening. And eventually comes, I have my stuff all moved out. I give the keys back. I have my stuff, a lot of stuff in storage. I have like a apartment. I got the keys like 2 days before my surgery, and then I have some great friends and support network to help me navigate the process of my surgery and recovery. And I stayed with a friend for a couple days, my friend Jeff, and man, I'm so grateful. And I guess what do I want to share about, like, there's been so many learning lessons for me, just like this whole process, the past 2 weeks really has like really forced me to slow down, like painfully slow, where like I'm not driving, I'm not walking, right? If I am walking, I'm on crutches, which, like, I just went across the street the other day and, like, I needed to take breaks. Like, I didn't realize how hard it is to get around on crutches. And a friend of mine lent me this great transport wheelchair, which is great. So I can kind of, it's not with your hands, it's with your, like, you can kick yourself, you kick the floor, you pedal your way on the floor with your one leg. And fun fact is, if you ever see someone in a wheelchair like that going backwards, it's because your quad muscle to push the floor away from you, which is when you're going backwards, that muscle is a lot stronger than your hamstrings, which is to pull it towards you. So that's why if you see someone in a wheelchair, you see me rolling down the street backwards. That's why. It's actually like some mechanics that make sense, and it's interesting. There's been so much. I feel like I've been talking for I don't know how long, and all I'm doing is giving you a preview. I haven't even dove in because it feels like it's like so deep, any of these components. It's like, where do I want to start? What's been cool is that I decided to take 2 weeks off from the day of my surgery to not take any client calls or meetings, to like really just focus in on me and my recovery. And I'm really glad I did that. It's been nice. And, it helps me get a breath to also just look at like the work I'm doing and like what is the type of work that I love doing? What are the things about my work that I don't like doing? Because, like, guess what? I'm the boss, and I get to create a structure that works for me, and that the structure that works for me is also, in large part, what is most of service and most conducive to who I'm helping, right? Like, how can I best create a channel of my gifts and that natural flow energy, that channeling, right? How can I create a channel, right? A pathway, a conduit, so that is the most easily flowing to who needs it. And, part of that is like being very clear about what it is and what it is not, and all of that. And that's, that's been an interesting journey. As you can see, this technical stuff is not part of it. But like, once I'm here and rolling, I hope it's still rolling. But, this part is fine. There was a funny day, maybe it was like last weekend. I didn't have any calls, and I'm like, I love the work I do, right? As a coach, and I was kind of like itching, for just, like, how can I help? How can I, like, I want some I love these people puzzles, and I was just like itching for some like good coaching and conversation. So I got this excitement idea to pack myself up, and I had a little sign like this. a little whiteboard, and I just wrote on it, ask a life coach. And I took an Uber, well, a Lyft, down to a local park. And it was kind of funny, right? Like I'm on crutches, and I find a bench, and I hang up my crutch. I take a seat, I hang up my crutches, and I hang up this sign on my crutches to basically say, like, hey, any passersby, like if you're, you can use some perspective on something, or, some support or clarity, like maybe I can help. And just like the dichotomy was just so hysterical to me of, I'm just imagining through someone else's eyes, right? Like they don't know who I am, or my credentials, or, anything like that. It's a, cheap sign. Who knows what somebody's thinking. But the idea of going to somebody for like life advice or like guidance or some sort of like support or clarity from somebody who physically looks so broken. I got my brace on at the time, not right now. Don't tell my PT. I got my brace, I got my crutches, right? Like, I don't look like I really got my shit together. Like, I can't even walk, And this dichotomy, right, of like, how can it be that you can be looking for some emotional, mental, relational, spiritual guidance or clarity from someone who physically so does not look like they're together right now. In the sense of like going through an injury and recovery, right? Not at my best. I can't do basic things like just walk. And I don't know, something about that was hysterical to me. And, I decided like, hey, even if no one comes up, like that is worth it for me, just because like that is hysterical and just so funny. And it turns out that there was this like event and live music there, so like it wasn't the best environment. I'll probably try it another day, but because it's just fun. But yeah, I appreciate the slowing down. I'm pretty homebound. I still get out. I have insurance covers like some rides for me to get to my doctor or get to physical therapy. Like I said, I can get a ride if I need to go somewhere. I have friends that come by and visit and hang out. I have friends who pick me up and we might go somewhere, whether it's to a meeting or joyriding or whatever. But it's funny. I'm in a really tiny apartment, which I love. It's like 400 something square feet. I think it could be like tiny home status. And I love it. I am so giddy. And, man, like, I think the universe is just showing me like these two different gas pedals, recently in my life, which is this pedal of go, right? Which is like go, like make things happen, trying to, like really put my energy, my will, my way into things, which is kind of like the whole, month or so before my surgery, which is like, oh my God, I got to nail everything down. I have to know everything about surgery, everything about PT, everything about, what I need to have prepared and what services, how do I make sure I'm ready? And then how do I find an apartment that's accessible? And how do I know that the elevator is not going to break because I'm not going to be able to do stairs? And how do I do this? And like, what environment do I need to be? And then like, it's like, whoa, like there's an energy of like go that I have that can be very, forceful and very, I would say, there is like an obsession that I can get where I get locked in and I am like ready to lock in and learn, right? Or do whatever it is. That gets me somewhere and it's useful. And there's also this other pedal that is, maybe it's the brakes, maybe it's like just like more of, instead of me going, it's more like letting it come. And that energy has been showing up lately with like this apartment, right? Like this apartment was one of those things of like, just do the next right thing. There's a calm energy, and like you're gonna end up right where you need to be. And like this is one example of that, and so many examples of that, of just not having all the answers, not having it all figured out, and exercising that muscle of trust. Ow! I just itched because I had an itch and I forgot. Ow! I itched my stitch. I'm gonna put that back away. Maybe I do plan to do another video that's like more about like the ow. That was gnarly. That's more about the ACL meniscus recovery journey for those who are wanting to get nerded out with that. Because it's been fascinating, man. There's so much there, even just to the extent of like that process of like surgery and anesthesia and waking up, and then like dreams after the fact, which have been like kind of I mean, I'm already kind of crazy and wild with like connection and visualizations and that sort of thing, but there's been even more, right? And just my connection with like the outside world since surgery has been so wild, right? Where I don't know, like there's a joy, there's a new connection that I have being somebody who needs a lot of help physically, being somebody who needs a push if I'm in this wheelchair, right? The other day I was, like at my ride came early, and I was at a coffee shop before physical therapy, and I'm like, oh, it's just like, 2 blocks away. It's fine. I can roll. And I'm like, it was tiring. So I stopped at a corner, and I was, what do you call it when you're hitchhiking? But instead of for a ride, you're on a wheelchair just looking for a push. And I stood on a corner, and well, I didn't stand. I was sitting on a corner in my wheelchair, and just waiting for someone to walk by, and heading in that direction, and I asked for a push, and man, like there have been such wild connections and encounters with random people through this, and the way it's opened me up to a broader sense of humanity and understanding, like I can look at someone's knees and see who has gone through what I've gone through. Like I recognize scars now, and I can be like, I know, like, yeah, that's me too. And like I can gauge like how far along they are. And I met this priest who was like, yeah, I'm 3 months out. And like this past weekend was the first time I was able to walk down the aisle at the service, because it's like a cobblestone thing without a cane. And it's like nobody would know what a big deal that is unless you've like, slowed down to this journey. And other people, just sharing stories. And I don't know, there's something very beautiful about what's happening. So, I think I'm learning more about like riding in the slow lane and trusting. And it's scary, right? And a lot of times I need to be, there's this saying in recovery, about like, until the pain gets great enough, we're not willing to change. And we'll change when the pain is great enough, right? When we hit a bottom, in a sense. And I think that was definitely me at the end, like before my surgery, is like, I was so exhausted, just mentally, trying to figure everything out and everything not working. I have one place that I was going to be staying at, an extended stay, that fell through like last minute, and then there's another place that like has mold, and another place that's like supposed to work, and it's like one thing after another. It's like in those moments, my instinct was to push harder, and what I learn is that in those moments when I keep hitting like that, it's actually to have that discernment to actually slow down and see like a bigger path forward, right? So anyway, that's been really cool, and I'm still kind of like going back and piecing it out. So I'm going to try to put these out a little bit more, even if it's all, disorganized, whatever, like this. And even just keep you posted. I do plan on releasing. First I have to film it and record it. Just like talking more about the surgery process and recovery process, because that's been really cool. Like, it's really forcing me to get in touch with my body more after this surgery. So anyway, reach out, leave a comment, drop a message. Any questions, I'm happy to answer. And appreciate you for listening and being along this journey of just how do I become a more free and full version of myself every step of the way. And like, man, that's a fun journey. Like, there are some highs and then there's lows, but like, dude, I wouldn't trade it. This is amazing. People are like looking at me hobbling around in crutches, and they're like, how are you? Oh man, they're like feeling sorry for me. I'm like, dude, life's freaking amazing, man. And it's like, if I can have that even when life on the outside looks really shitty, then like there's something to be shared there, and I can kind of dissect it to try to like give the formula. So if you have any questions, send it my way. I am a little slow with emails and comments and things like that, but you'll hear from me again. Bye. Oh, and look at this leg lift. All right, ready? Here's the leg. Ready? Straight leg lift, no quad lag. Let's go, bro. You're not supposed to like really, really be good at that for like 4 weeks, and I'm like just hitting 2 weeks, and I'm